As a landscape photographer, to me there's a much different feeling that I get during a sunrise as compared to sunset. I instantly feel accomplished just by knowing that I'm aligning my day as the morning sun rises. It's not always easy to push yourself out of bed, and there's never a guarantee that you'll witness good light or that the sky will light up with vibrant hues and colors. I guess the experience for me of photographing sunrise goes beyond those expectations. It's during these moments when I find myself easily falling into a meditative state as I set up my first composition. Good morning, everyone. It is the coldest morning so far since arriving to Death Valley, and the temperature dropped through the night about 20 degrees, and I was definitely not expecting that, because I think right around the time that the temperature dropped, I reached a perfect level of comfort in my camp, and so it was a little difficult to wake up this morning, but upon waking up and looking up at the stars, I realized that there wasn't going to be that many clouds over towards the direction that I wanted to photograph in. And so this is a location here that I scouted yesterday afternoon, these fantastic Badlands that Death Valley is so famous for, with its unique patterns and colors in the rocks. So I'm trying to frame up a composition here. I've arrived early enough to just take my time and settle on hopefully a composition or two for the morning. Now the key thing about this location is to photograph it pre-sunrise, before the light starts getting really harsh. So I'm gonna get back to it, frame up a composition, and hopefully walk you through it. And I think we should be able to at least photograph one or two images this morning. So definitely glad that I decided to come here instead of go to Dante's View, which was closed yesterday morning, like I told you guys on episode 1. And that was a surprise, because I always start this trip by going to Dante's View, so it was a break in the pattern of of my tradition coming out here to Death Valley every January. But you know, sometimes patterns and traditions are no good. Sometimes they can get in the way of creativity. And coming out here to this location is another one of those new locations for me, and I'm so glad that I took the time to location scout it yesterday, because otherwise I think I would have been frantically running around trying to find a composition for the morning. So I have taken my first image, and basically all I'm doing is taking the 70-200 lens, and I'm just zoomed in right now at about 120 mil, and I'm really just trying to find those textures and patterns and vibrant colors, because you know, this area close to Zabriskie Point just offers some spectacular views of these famous Death Valley Badlands. So it was at f11 just because I wanted to get everything quite sharp. It's usually my go-to aperture for these kinds of scenes, for many scenes actually, I should say. So yeah, f11, and I am using my polarizer to a slight effect. I'll go ahead and show you this image now, because I'm going to try and frame up another composition. So I think I've been able to compose something quite special, quite good. I'm very happy with this composition, and I can honestly say, dare I say, I should probably disclose first, dare I say that I think this is so far my first, perhaps portfolio-worthy image of my trip, which you know, anytime I get that kind of sensation, that kind of image, oh, it feels so good. It just, you know, there's this fictitious, I think, added pressure that is just not necessary, but I always just impose it on myself. And until I get something that I consider portfolio worthy, you know, I just have this kind of looming pressure over me. So, yeah, this image is fairly similar to the previous image that I showed you. It's still at f11, and I'm using the polarizer to the slight effect. I'll go ahead and show you the image now, because I want to continue working the composition and see if I can explore a better angle for it, or perhaps if this one is as good as it'll get, then great. But I just still want to take my time working this composition. But either way, I'll show you the image now. So the wind has calmed, and the sun is now starting to cast a beautiful soft glow onto these Badlands here. I think I've already taken my favorite image of the morning, and I think I'm pretty much done. But I did frame up one more image that's a slight variation of the image that I just showed you now. Just slightly different angling, same settings. So I'll go ahead and show that to you now. But just so you know, it's still at f11, and I am still using my polarizer to a slight effect. And one of the things that I wanted to also cover was one of the techniques that I'm doing this morning is I am exposing as far to the right as I can without, of course, blowing out any of my highlights, but I'm exposing all the way to the right with the hopes that that will allow me to better control the tonality of the image. And basically I'll just use my exposure slider in post-processing and my white slider to control both the highlights and the shadows and add contrast to it that way. And I've found that really creates, I should say, a really nice paint-like soft effect to the image. So I'm hiking back to my car now, and definitely very glad that I decided on this location for this sunrise shoot instead of Dante's View, because it really paid off location scouting it yesterday. Really quite happy, and I feel like at least one of those images is portfolio worthy. So that just eases the overall mood of the trip. At least it does for me. So I'm hoping to have quite a productive day here in Death Valley. I'm gonna go ahead, go back to the car, get some breakfast, and there are 2 locations that I want to scout before going to my sunset location. It's always a great feeling on these trips to know that not only did I have a productive morning, but that I also may have come away with an image that I feel just may be a keeper. It is my goal on these trips to go back home with at least 2 to 3 portfolio-worthy photos. And I feel like on this morning, I was able to accomplish that in at least
one of those compositions. Later in the day, I made my way to the artist palette area, just a location scout around. Little did I know, one small fall and injury on this hike would signal the beginning of a change in pace and mindset for this trip. But that story is for another day. Thank you for watching, and please consider supporting my journey and work by visiting my website at diegomccartney.com and subscribing to my channel. If you enjoyed the video, any shares and likes are also greatly appreciated, as they really do help spread the word. Thank you for your support.